Right, hello, I hope you're well. Like, generally, I hope you're well after what's been going on the past day, really. It's only been 24 hours. So, this is the State of Footy, just a weekly. It will be a weekly football recap show, but the elephant in the room, the main talking point, we just gotta get out of the way, the Super League. So, for those of you that don't know, be very surprised those of you that don't know. It's this new proposed league when the big six owners in the Premier League and six other clubs around Europe have been proposing this breakaway league. And so pretty much, it was intended to be this midweek competition, to kind of replace the Champions League, but then UEFA and the FA started coming out and saying that this is a war on football and it can't, pretty much because it's a closed league and it just completely ruins the footballing pyramid, which we love, which is the glory of the sport. I know that Liverpool and United are owned by American owners, and this is very much an American system. So it would be an absolute outrage if it goes through. If you have them just playing in this European Super League, it would kill all the other leagues in the world. It would just kill football as we know it. And for that reason, I just think it can't go through. I just think there's too many things aren't realistic, and it just can't realistically go through. A lot of people are saying that it is just kind of a bargaining chip because they feel like they're not making enough money. They feel like they're not being paid enough by UEFA. There's been plans for this in the past. I do think UEFA are prepared to how to deal with this, and because of the impact it would have, again, I just can't really see. I personally don't think it's going to go through, but at the same time, we still need to fight this because it is very scary and could change the game we love as we know it. 4 billion people adore this game, and to take that away is just absolutely massive. Even if it falls through, which I think it will, I think these owners still shouldn't be allowed to own the club for even attempting to do something of this not audacity, because it's not like this audacious thing, of this measure, of this level, for lack of a better word. A few factors I'm gonna go into specifics for. Lots of people. I watched RamboFYI's video on it. I thought his was quite good. I've seen a few Goldbridge Thogden videos. I thought they were good as well. One thing to note is that the English clubs cannot leave the English system without the permission of the FA. The FA, who are strongly against it. The UK government has gotten involved. They said they're going to do everything they can to make sure this doesn't happen. In Barcelona, one of the major clubs involved in it, their old president signed off on it, I believe. So it could fall through with them. And so with no English clubs, without Barca, Bayern and PSG are not even in it to begin with. And Germany do have this system. You may have heard of it. It's called the 50+1. When you buy a football club in Germany, if you want to become the owner of Borussia Dortmund, you can only own 49% of the club. The rest of it goes to the fans. So the fans get the final decision and everything. Which Boris Johnson said that he does want to implement that in England and the UK, which I think will be absolutely brilliant. I'm not a big supporter of Boris, but if he is to stop the Super League and implement this 50+1, that will be good. That's all I'm going to say. And the thing is, today also, was it today? Maybe late last night. So this Champions League new format got announced, the 2024-25 format, season, not format. I can't talk. Just lots of emotions. So in the format is kind of similar to the Super League format, which I do think the format is a bit rubbish at the same time if we're keeping the Champions League in the footballing pyramid, whatever, I guess. So I do think that in the end this is a bargaining chip to get more money from UEFA, which UEFA do have money and they can give. And I am echoing this from a kind of, when I take this and I take my own opinion and I kind of echo these points I thought were good and take my own interpretation on them. So I will leave those links in the description. I do think it's kind of a bargaining chip to get more money, and it's a bargaining chip to change the format of the Champions League, which could happen, but I guess it's better than the whole game falling through. It's just there's too many factors. It just can't exist on its own because it was initially designed to be a new midweek competition. It was kind of like to replace the Champions League. When they can't have the domestic stuff, it just can't stand. That's just not why it was created. And the thing is, I feel like a lot of people have been jumping the gun. I feel like when they announced it, it didn't mean this is the exact date we're going to do it. They said the plans are for around August. And today, the Perez, the Real owner, kind of released a statement which kind of changed a few things. It kind of like almost kind of contradicted, and you can tell he's already starting to kind of dumb down what he's been saying before. So I just think there's just gonna be loads of compromises, and it just can't go through. Not like, and when I say it can't go through, I know a lot of people mean we can't allow this to happen. We cannot allow it to happen. Um, it'll just kill the game. But when I say it just can't go through, it just realistically cannot happen. But then again, with that being said, in the aftermath, I feel John Henry, owner of FSG, we got the Glazers, Abramovich, Kroenke, Dan Levy, the owners of City. All the owners of the Big Six teams, they need to go for even trying this. I said it before. They need to go. Show them where the door is. And also, Jose Mourinho has been sacked from Spurs this week. He was sacked. Today I'm recording this morning, and it was reported that they wouldn't have sacked him because it's 6 days before a Carabao Cup final. If you're Spurs and haven't won a trophy in 10 years, you're not going to sack Jose Mourinho, the connoisseur of trophies, 6 days before a cup final. And he's not just going to walk out 6 days for a cup final. What happened is a lot of reports suggest that he refused to bring his players out to train in protest of the Super League, which is great to see. I don't know if you saw the video. He was loving it. He walked out with a smile on his face. He was filming the press when they were talking to him, put it on his Instagram. He just could not give a single shit. He just absolutely was loving it, which you do love to see from him, because he doesn't need Spurs. Spurs need him at the minute. I know the results weren't gone, but you have to look at it beyond kind of the sacking right now. I do think it was a bit kind of disgracefully sacked it. Maybe we thought, maybe if our manager isn't going to bring our players out to train, maybe we should, I don't know, step back and reassess this, because it is disgusting that these owners have signed off on it. But Mourinho, just being Mourinho, has been a bit of light to the situation. And speaking of other news in football, we are going to go over the Champions League result, which may be a tad bit bitter with people saying it could not exist after this. But again, I don't know if I already said this, but just take everything you see in social media with a pinch of salt. There's been reports saying Liverpool have officially left the I was going to say European Union, but no, this isn't Brexit, but the saying they've left UEFA and they can't participate in any UEFA competitions anymore. I think that is jumping the gun. I haven't seen any announcements like BBC and Sky Sports, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that would be a pretty big thing, and we would get these official announcements. So, yesterday when the news first came out, I kind of felt it was my duty to kind of stay on Instagram, stay on Twitter, and just keep everything informed, which is a terrible idea. Don't do that. I thought this is how I inform myself, but just take everything you see with a pinch of salt. I would say, especially if I'm not saying that we should only look at mainstream. Usually my favorite type of accounts are kind of fan-driven, fan-based. Usually you can scrap the mainstream ones, but sometimes just don't believe everything you read. I'm not saying discredit these fan-based channels. I think they're actually what are helping us and saving it. It's just, you shouldn't believe every single post you see. And I'm not saying these fan channels are putting that out. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be just mainstream and fan channels. It's just sometimes a blog's post is a blog's post. Just don't believe everything you read and just wait it out. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't revolt. We should be very woke at the minute. I know I just kind of contradicted what I said, but we do have to stop this because it is a plan which has been proposed. I do think it is being dumbed down as we speak, and that will probably mean that kind of there won't be as much of a reaction, but we still need to fight this and do everything we can. And I saw like this video of after the Leeds-Liverpool game of one of the coaches being chased. I'm not sure which fans are doing it. I'm not sure if they were even chasing the Liverpool coach. But Jurgen Klopp came out and said that it'll only make him want to stay more if there's a challenge, which I absolutely love. Like, the world does not deserve this man. He's just too good for us. But the thing is, it's not the player's fault. It's not the fans' fault. It's not the manager's fault. If you're like me and you support a Big Six club, you're probably appalled by your owners. I've never liked Fenway Sports Group. It's just the next level. I feel like right now, because there's kind of a civil war between the boards and the clubs, because it doesn't mean you have to completely disregard your club. We just need to get it through to the boards why this isn't okay. We need to end this. Then we need new owners. I know it is a tall order, but it doesn't mean turn on your fellow fans. Don't turn on the players. Don't turn on the coaches. Still back your club, because your club is very different than a few billionaires who are idiots. So yeah, getting to the Champions League stuff, that was interrupted by an absolute waffle. So PSG advanced over Bayern. The game was very end-to-end, very good stuff. Bayern did win the game 1-0 in the end, but PSG won the war. They advanced on aggregate, and it was a very because there was, I mean, low scoring game, but it was very fluid, end to end stuff, lots of shots. It was some very great goalkeeping from both sides. Maybe the best goalkeeping performances I've seen from both sides in a single football match in my life. And then in the end, you had kind of Neymar subbing right in front of Hoshio Kimika. I do feel a bit bad for Kimika. Apparently, there was kind of a little bit of stuff between Kimmich and them in social media, but I just think it was coincidence. Just the image of him just screaming right in front of Kimmich's face, just something to behold, really. Chelsea advanced over Porto. They didn't. Porto did win the second leg, but Chelsea advanced 2-1, and they won in style with an overhead kick, which was just absolutely brilliant. Maybe a Puskas winner. City advanced over Dortmund. It was a Bellingham masterclass. We got the Haaland and Sancho show. It was just even Marco Reus on tune. Quite exciting performance in Dortmund, despite they didn't actually go through. And then Real advanced over Liverpool. Yeah, it was a 0-0 draw. This didn't advance. Quite good goalkeeping, but besides that. So in the Premier League, Newcastle beat West Ham. So that kind of changed things up for top four. Gave Liverpool a chance to kind of go ahead and make a better push for top four, but they drew Leeds today. And again, the thing about Leeds is you see Arsenal drawing Fulham, you see Liverpool drawing Leeds, and there were lots of results in Italy that didn't go the way of these big teams that would be in the Super League. So it just shows you can't have a closed system. That's just not how football works. It's just too big. There's too much stuff that happens that this just can't go through. And this, when I say can't go through, like, we can't allow it, because you can't just say these teams are superior. And then, what? So Liverpool are one of the top 12 clubs in Europe and we can't beat Leeds. Arsenal are one of the top 12 clubs in the world and they can't beat Fulham. It's like Animal Farm. All clubs are equal, but some more equal than others. So then, staying in England, Norwich were promoted from the Championship. Pretty good campaign from them. We get to see Farkball, we get to see Cantwell dancing next season. That should be fun. Then we got Sheffield United relegated from the Premier League. Very bad, not a very good campaign. I think it's up there with Derby's. It was happening for a while. It was a bit inevitable. But yeah, so they lost to Wolves. Now they have officially gone down. But people are saying if the 6 teams are to leave the Premier League, then they'll be unrelegated and they'll have to promote more teams. It's just absolutely madness. But for now, Sheffield been relegated. Just, again, terrible league campaign. They sacked Chris Wilder. And even then, when they sacked him, they kind of knew things were destined to just kind of go to shit, really. Things were destined to sink, so not very sharp from the blades. You like that? You like that? So then, Man City spent £400,000 on a 13-year-old prospect. That didn't sound right, so I'm just gonna move on before this. Yeah, and then to end again on a more serious note, so the Glenn Kamara and Andrzej Kudela case, when Andrzej Kudela was racially abused Glenn Kamara of Rangers during a Europa League match. So the bans are handed out. So Kudela got a 10-match ban and Glenn Kamara got a 3-match ban because he allegedly beat him up in the tunnel. My thoughts is, again, I'm not the most well-spoken on this, and there are loads of other people, and some things I would just like to echo, because I feel like if I'm doing the show, if I'm saying this to however many people I am, I know I don't have a massive platform, I just think there are some things worthy of just noting and just reiterating. So, the thing is, there's a lot more evidence that Kudela racially abused Kamara than there was that Kamara beat him up in the tunnel, so I feel that Kamara's ban was just bang out of order. And I think, I saw this in an FNG video. He brought up the fact that Kieran Trippier was banned 12 matches for a betting scandal, and Andrzej Kudela is banned 10 for racially abusing someone, when there's loads more evidence, loads of people that heard it, loads more physical thing. He covered his mouth. We saw some statements saying players who cover their mouths when saying stuff, that should be an immediate ban, and you can't really argue with that. If it wasn't bad, why would you cover your mouth when you say it? Like, it's just absolutely, there's so much work that needs to be done. And there's, again, Steven Gerrard said we can't let it get swept under the rug, and I guess if technically there was a ban, but there seems to be more clinical things. Sure, you think, oh, next time, but it doesn't matter. Glenn Kamara was still racially abused and pretty much wasn't served justice. And this is going to continue. And it's still going to happen. And UEFA's still going to sleep on it. So there just has to be a massive rejig with everything with UEFA. So yeah, on that will conclude this week's episode of the State of Footy. A bit mental. Just try to stay positive. I'm not saying just say, oh, the Super League definitely is going to happen. I still think people do have a right to be disgusted in their owners. Because I genuinely felt sick when I first heard the news. I never felt like that before in my life. So I'm not saying you shouldn't be outraged that that you have every right to be outraged, you have every right to be sick with your owners. If you're in the same boat as me and you support a Big Six team, all I'm just saying is don't turn on your players, don't turn on your coaches, don't turn on the fellow fans. They have nothing to do with it. It's really just the owners shitting everything up. And but you do have the right to be outraged. Use that to try and stop this. Just get yourself involved, get your voice out there. Really, I feel like I'm doing some get out the vote campaign, but the fans, I think, are going to overpower the owners. I just think there's too many things, and now that's already being dumbed down. They're announced this new Champions League format. I think we could see some new reformatting and kind of rejig some things down the road, but I also don't think it's going to go through. So just try to stay positive, really. But again, try to stay positive, but you have the right to be outraged, if that makes any sense. But it is serious. I do mean that. So yeah, cheers for watching. A bit of a kind of like sad video, just kind of not the usually positive tone I like to make. I usually like to make jokes, but I feel like this is a more kind of solemn, serious episode. So yeah, see you a lot next time. Cheers for watching.